This episode of Grounded in Maine is sponsored by ESG Review. ESG Review magazine is published quarterly in February, May, August, and November, and is available for free in print and digital formats. ESG Review is devoted to environmental, social, and governance strategies, technologies, and investments. ESGreview.net is updated every Wednesday with 8 new stories and is home to feature articles, news items, and more. Visit esgreview.net to stay informed and help us spark the collaboration and awareness needed to develop sustainable economies and communities around the world.
There's a place where there's no trouble, no more pain, no more struggle.
Hi there. Thank you so much for listening to Grounded in Maine today. My name is Amy Fagan. My guest today is Deanna Yates, who I met on Facebook, where I meet a lot of people. Deanna has her own podcast. It is called Wannabe Clutter-Free, Wannabe Minimalist. That's what it is. Her Instagram page is Wannabe Clutter-Free. I don't know why I can't get that. Anyway, Deanna is super inspiring. She has lived quite the life, and she has inspired me so much. I have the hoarder gene in me, and I fight it constantly, and I am completely inspired to start weeding things out. In fact, I'm recording this intro 2 weeks later, and just yesterday I filled up a huge box full of shoes that I didn't need and clothes that I haven't worn in a while, and that's all because of her. I haven't stopped thinking about it since I talked to her, and I just think she's wonderful. And because of her clutter-free life, she has so much freedom in her life, and she can do things that I definitely can't do. I feel like I can't do. Anyway, I think she's wonderful. I hope that you'll learn something from this. It's not just like get rid of your junk. It's there's more to it than that. And she's not one of those all or nothing type people that are just like, you have to get rid of everything. I love that about her. And she also, so Deanna also is starting a, like an organizing business, but I'm going to let her tell you about that. But she's going to tell us about her life, which is pretty fantastic. And so if you love this podcast, this episode, this podcast in general, feel free to rate, review, send me a message. I would love any of those things. Good Pods is great because you can comment on a specific episode, and then I can comment back if you like, and we can have a whole conversation. But Apple is cool too. Holds a lot of weight. But anyway, if you like it, let me know. If you don't like it, please let me know, because this is, I want this to be the best thing for you. And if you have anything to add, if you have something to share, please let me know, because I would love to chat with you. I love to talk about sustainability with everyone and how it affects them, because everyone has a personal experience with sustainability. Anyway, thank you again for listening. Deanna's information will be in the show notes, and I hope you enjoy it. So today my guest is Deanna Yates. She and we met on Facebook not too long ago. We're meeting face to face today for the first time, and she has a podcast called Wannabe Minimalist, and she has a lot of episodes. She's got a lot of experience in this. So Deanna, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, Amy, thanks for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Yay. So Wannabe Minimalist. Are you a legit minimalist?
So that term, I think, is very loaded, and I think it has a lot of different meanings for a lot of different people. So I say wannabe because, look, I'm a suburban mom. I have a 9-year-old daughter. To say that I'm going to have 100 items is not realistic. but to strive to be intentional about the things I bring into my home and be minimalist in my purchasing of new items, yeah, definitely. I definitely feel like I treasure experiences over things. For me, it is just more about intention than it is about the set number of items we have. Like, I want to make sure that the things we keep are the things that actually serve a purpose for us. And so that's
Mm,
kind of where that part comes from. Yeah.
wow. Is 100 things, is that like a firm rule?
No, I mean, there's a guy out there that talked about only having 100 personal items. And, I think people just see through this kind of stuff now, because it wasn't like there were only 100 things in his house, because he was a dad, he was a husband, he had a kid, right? Like, so it was his personal items, not necessarily all of the things. And so I think it can get really complicated when people are like, well, how many of these things do I need? And it's like, well, how many feel right to you? Like, there's no set number. There's no life is life is what you make of it, right? There's no
Right.
set. And for me, it's always just striving to be a little bit better, do a little bit better, be a little more conscientious about what I'm doing, learn from past mistakes, learn from purchases I made that weren't the best choice. And just I just love that, learning, being curious, and just taking life as it comes, and not being so rigid with myself and with other people, right?
Right. Oh my gosh. Yes. The rigid part is it's so spot on, because people feel like you have to be like, you're all in or you're all out. And that's just,
Yeah.
it's unreasonable, because we're human, like you said, and
Yes.
we have lives, and it's not, everything is not about the stuff that we have. And I think that's so awesome. And I just love the way that you think about that, because it's true. I mean, it's so true. It's not necessarily having as little as possible, but having what you have means something and is functional. That's amazing. Very cool.
Yeah.
And how did you get here? Have you always had that mindset?
Well, I think I've always been a saver. I think I've always been somebody that has saved my money, even from when I was a little kid. There's the story of kind of one of my biggest purchases that I ever made as a kid. I was 10 years old, and we didn't have any cats, and I really wanted a cat. We had a dog. I really wanted a cat. And my parents said, well, you can buy one. Now, I will say, I'm going to date myself here. This was pre rescues being a
Right.
thing. This is all that. Okay. So nobody give me hate for not getting a rescue cat and getting a
Right.
purebred. I was 10. Please be nice. Um, but I paid $250 for this cat back in 1990. So, I've always been a saver. I've always wanted the quality over the quantity. And
That's what
so
it
I
costs
will,
to get a rescue right now, right?
well, there you go. See, no, because we don't have any pets now. Actually, it's not true. We just got a beta fish for our daughter, so she's in heaven. Like, she loves it. We just got it yesterday.
They're beautiful. Their fins are so
They
like
are.
flowy.
They are gorgeous.
They
Yes.
just don't like others. They just don't play
Yes,
well.
right. Very solo. They don't play well with others. So I think that's a really good story early on in my life, to show that, like, I was able to save, and I really would be very conscientious about what I would buy. And then I think it just kind of, as you get older and you grow up and you have all these different inputs coming at you and all these different marketing channels and all this different stuff, there was a time when we had a lot of stuff, right? My husband and I, we were living in Boulder. Our daughter was one. We decided, we had a business, we were working from home. We said, we can do this from anywhere. We're like, why don't we do it from Europe? Why not? And so we sold 90% of what we owned. We sold our car, we sold most of our furniture. At the time, most of it was, Craigslist stuff and, whatever. So it didn't feel like this big thing. And we were only renting. So it was easy to just kind of check out and go.
Right.
And it was amazing. We didn't need all that stuff. We didn't need as much stuff to live with. Fast forward, we came back. We tried, the travel blogging. We thought we'd be travel bloggers, right? Well, that didn't work out. So we threw in the towel. We came back, thought we would be good. Moved near family in Des Moines, bought a house, started to fill it with stuff because we didn't have anything. And then, of course, our friends and family are so generous, and they were giving us stuff because, like we said, we sold 90% of what we owned, and now we're filling a 3-bedroom home. And so before long, it was cluttered and we felt just like all this stuff weighing down on us. I ended up getting a job in Chicago. We moved again, and moves are always a great way to be able to purge and let go of the stuff you don't need. We were able to be a lot more mindful of the things we brought with us, right? It was a lesson of like, okay, pause, be able to say no, think about something before you bring it into your house. And just, I think having those experiences back to back was really helpful in saying, like, okay, life is feeling overwhelming. What's something that's happening now that wasn't happening? Because it's not like traveling with a 1-year-old is stress free. Let's go ahead and like put that out there. But why am I so much more stressed now? Oh, I have all this stuff I'm trying to manage and clean and keep up with. And, you know, so it was just a really eye-opening way to be able to say, like, this is a stark contrast from this, and maybe there's a happy medium in here.
Oh my gosh, Deanna. Wow. I mean, listening to your story, it does make sense that the more you move, the easier it is to be aware of what you actually need, for sure. I've been in my house for 16 years now. We're settled.
Yeah, I get that.
And I want so badly to work toward decluttering. But there's just so much stuff, and then it's all overwhelming. So what would you, if someone like me were to say, Deanna, how can I start? Like, what would you recommend for someone who has lived in the same house for 16 years and is overwhelmed and super stressed? Like, what would you say? What would you say first? Like, where would somebody like me, asking for a friend?
Yes, for sure. Totally. Got it. Well, you have a choose your own adventure option. I'm going to give you 2 choices.
Ooh.
One, you get to either choose the area that is that you notice the least. Like, that's going to be the easiest for you to say, like, oh my God, I haven't looked in this box in 5 years. I clearly don't need anything in here. So I'm going to look through it just in case there's some like super treasure that I would be devastated if I didn't have. Hint, there probably isn't, but just go with the lens of like, just so I at least know what I threw out. So that's option 1. Start where there is 0 attachment, the least amount of attachment that you can think of. The other option is to start where it's going to make the biggest difference in your day. So a lot of people, if they're working out of the home, a lot of women, I know that's going to be their closet, because you're in there every day, and the clothes we put on help us reflect out to the world how we're feeling about ourselves. You know, it is, for better or for worse, it's the costume we put on to the world. And so being able to go through your closet, and instead of saying like, oh, I have nothing to wear, but you have an entire closet full of stuff, you know, you're going to go through it and you're going to try your clothes on and you're going to say, I feel good in this outfit. Or you're going to try it on and say, I don't feel that great when I wear this. And give yourself permission to let go of those clothes, because the more we hold on to the things that we don't actually feel good in or feel good about, it hides the stuff that we do love. The stuff we do love gets buried in it. And so it's not that you can't keep those things that are just so fine. You can, but it just makes it harder to find the things that you love. It makes it harder for those things that you love to come toward you. And then you actually save those things that you love because you think, well, those are my special things. But you are special. Every day is special. From, you know, if you listen to anybody who has lost a loved one or gone through a traumatic experience or suffered a natural disaster, things you didn't see coming, you start to then treasure those days you had. The regular, everyday life, it's special. And so we need to treat it as such and use those nice things. Don't save them for a rainy day, because moths could get to them. A fire could come. There could be a flood. You could change sizes. Like, the things you love may not be there when you actually want them. So use them today. Try on all your clothes. See if you like them. If that's too much, just start with like one section. I try not to like overwhelm, because especially if you haven't gone through your stuff in a very long time, it can be very overwhelming to go through an entire category of things. Like, if you take clothes, that might be too big. Try pants, try t-shirts, try jackets, try, and then especially as we get through a season. So we're coming off of, right, as we're recording this, we're coming out of fall or out of winter and into spring. So you're going to then have, what are the winter coats that I had that I didn't wear this season? Because if you didn't wear them this season, newsflash, you are not going to wear them next season. You just aren't. So that's kind of where I like to start, especially as we're changing seasons. It's a really good place to be able to say, like, all right, I didn't wear that. I'm not going to wear it. I know I'm not.
Oh, I feel like you can see into my soul. Wow, that's really awesome. I love the way that you word it, because it can feel really overwhelming. And I feel like I know that I have a little bit of the hoarding gene. My mom was pretty bad like that. But I'm constantly trying like a little bit here and there. Like I'll take old clothes that I change sizes. I'll take them away to the food bank, to the clothing bank. And, but it's just like, it's a bag here and there, which, it does feel good, but there are still a lot of clothes. And it's not like I have a ton of clothes. I just have, dresses that may or may not fit me now. But then, what if I lose or gain?
Yeah.
That's the hoarder in me. I know it. Like,
I get that.
But what if?
Well, and I had to come to terms with the fact that I'm not a dress wearer. I don't wear dresses. And it's just a personal preference. Like, it's just not something, I know that's not going to be the thing that I reach for. Right. I am a jeans and, I'm a tighter jean and a slouchy shirt kind of girl, right? Like, or I'm a shorts. I'll wear, some skirts, but I'm just not like a long dress, never going to happen. So sometimes you end up with those things in your closet and you think, that's interesting that I bought that, because I'm really not that kind of a person. Yeah. I don't wear those things, but
I have them for weddings.
Right? Well, keep the one that you love and you feel amazing in. I mean, I'm at a stage in my life where I don't really get invited to many weddings anymore. I was talking to a friend of mine. She's like, oh, we went to my second cousin remove's wedding last weekend. And she's like, I hadn't been to a wedding in ages. And I'm like, yep, I haven't been to a wedding in ages. And the next time I'm going to go to a wedding, it's either going to be my niece and nephew. They're in their 20s. So there's the next set I'll go to. And that's 2 weddings. And then my daughter's friends. Like, that's at the point where I'm going to be at. Like, there's not going to be that many in between.
Your 9-year-old daughter?
My 9-year-old daughter. Yes. This is how far it's going to be between when I'm going to need to go to a wedding. So it's like, I have one nice dress in case we get invited somewhere. And that's it. Like, I don't go out. Like, I don't need nice formal things. I don't work in a corporate setting anymore where I'm going to corporate events. And these are the things.
Right. So without dresses and stuff in your closet. No, seriously, what do you just have it empty, or do you put other, like, do you have like a filing cabinet or something?
So our closet, I actually redid it when we have a small walk-in closet. So I redid it when my husband was on he was on a trip with some friends. And so it was kind of like, I get into really like, it's like, that's like my little devious like place.
Yeah. You have the house to yourself.
I'm going to rip out this closet and put in organizers. This is what I do for fun when I have late nights to myself. I'm a little strange.
I do the same thing. I painted our bathrooms when my husband was away for 2 weeks.
There you go. See, we're meant to be friends. And so basically I put in, it was kind of just like one rack, like a U rack all the way around. Okay. So I just divided it and I put in, so we have a dresser in our bedroom that I am getting rid of. There's nothing in it. There is nothing in it. It's currently the stand for the TV, and we just need to come up with a time to put the TV on the wall. Yes, I'm one of those people that's a minimalist that has a TV in my bedroom. Don't shoot me. And so, every once in a while, it's nice to have it, especially when we're going to start having sleepovers and the kids are going to be in the house and I want to be in my room.
Right.
There are different phases. And so,
oh my gosh, your daughter is just about the age when she's going to start doing that.
I know.
Oh, well, didn't you she had someone over last week.
Yeah, it's happening. So it's here. But so I got 2 like bookshelves actually from IKEA that have drawers on the bottom. So it's like 3 shelves and then 2 drawers. So the drawers have our underwear and our socks and bathing suits and
Right.
tights and things like that. For me, my husband, my husband's is just his underwear and his socks. And then I have like, I put 2 hanging bars on his side, and then I have a tall on mine. And like I said, it has the one dress, it has like a jumper, it has coats. So like I do have one long coat that I still have in there. And then then the other side is just my like hang up shirts. And then I actually put the hamper under the lower hanger. And normally the lower bar is just like my drying stuff that's drying.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a part of it that's probably empty.
It's a small closet, so it's not super empty, but it's not stuffed. Like all the hangers can move quite a bit.
Oh my gosh, yes. That is terrible, and that is part of why I've been going through myself, because I'm like, I have like push everything away. Yeah. And why is it the closets? What is wrong with us? Why do we do that?
Well, it's just like I said, I mean, and part of it is because we traveled so much, right? I mean, so because we traveled, we did 2 stints of traveling. After we lived in Chicago, we traveled again, which is what I was telling you before we started the interview. And so the first stint was when our daughter was 1, we did 6 months. And the second stint, she was 5, and we did almost a year and a half, not quite. And that second time, we just did carry on for the first part of the trip. And then we came back, we did a visa reset, and we did 7 months, almost 8 months in Germany, specific Munich. Like, so we were there in an apartment. She went to kindergarten. And that time we did actually take a full suitcase with stuff. But
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So you did Spain and Germany. But then the 6-month stint earlier, where did you?
So the first time when she was 1, we did a month in each place. We did Airbnb, and we would stay for a full month in each city. So we started in Granada, Spain, and then we started in the UK. Sorry, we started in a little village called Buckton. It was just north of London, about 70 kilometers. And then we did, gosh, okay, this is going to take me back. It's going to take a minute. So from there, we did a 10-day road trip in Scotland. Then we went across to, did we do Germany at that point? Maybe we did Germany, and we did Greece for a week. We did Athens for a week. We did Granada, Spain. We did Olten, Switzerland. We have friends that live in Switzerland, so we stayed with them.
Wow.
And
with a 1-year-old.
Yeah, with a 1-year-old. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. Awesome.
We had a travel crib. That time was not carry-on only. We had our big suitcase, but we had a travel crib that actually fit in our suitcase, which was amazing. It was the Phil and Ted's Traveler, and I love it. It was just like, it would pop up. Put it together. It was great. Yeah.
Wow. Like a pop-up tent for a baby.
Kinda. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Crib. It was great.
Oh my gosh. That's so fun. I mean, the fact that you don't have that you don't have pets and you don't have stuff, you have that freedom to just do whatever, which is amazing. That is a good motivator.
Yeah. I was going to say, now our limitations are more on school, right? We have a 9-year-old. We always said we wanted to be settled. Both my husband and I have very traditional kind of upbringings, same house our entire childhood type of a thing. And so we both had stable school environments, and we wanted that for our daughter as well. So we did switch schools, but we stayed in the same district after COVID. And so it's just, now we're kind of like, okay, we're here, like, we're not going anywhere, but we still have the flexibility without the stuff. We're going to hopefully take a trip this summer. So yeah.
School vacations, man.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome. Very cool. Well, I'm sure I have other questions. I'm so fascinated. Like it's like, I don't know. I feel like you're speaking to my soul, and it's like, it's things that I kind of have known, but I'm like I'm so inspired to do more just by talking to you. Like, just hearing how freeing it sounds. I want some of that.
All right. Well, I will give you some other tips. I will answer some questions you're not even asking, because I know you're going to have them. So one, I would also say, work on your systems. Like that is a way for you to be able to get rid of your clutter without even having to do a big declutter session. Because I'm going to say no one really likes decluttering. I mean, you tell me, right? Is it a big thing you're really into? No, of course not. If you did, you wouldn't have the stuff, right? So no one really likes the decluttering part. It's hard, it's emotional, it's tough, it's draining, it's, you know, it's mental, it's sentimental. You just feel it's not a great feeling. So one way you can make the process easier is by having just different little systems in place. Set up a central donation box in your house. And every time you come across something that you're like, pop it in the box, right? It doesn't just magically disappear. You're going to have to take the box at some point, but at least it gives you a place to like put your stuff that you're like, I don't think I need this. And then if a week goes by and you're like, okay, it's time for me to take this box. If you haven't gone to take anything out of that box, then you can feel comfortable letting it go. Cause you're like, I put it in there. I haven't needed it. Now I can let go of it.
That's clever.
Also, put one of those boxes in your closet. Every time you get dressed, if you keep skipping over, you notice you keep skipping over a shirt or a pair of pants or a thing, and you're like, I'm not wearing this because this. And you're not even going to say it out loud, but you're going to definitely have that mental conversation going on.
Just push right past it every time.
By the third time, say like, okay, clearly I'm not going to wear this.
Message received.
In the box. Right? Because it's just, that's an easy way for you to do it. So you're not going to have to sit there. Don't turn the the hanger thing is good, right? Everyone tells you turn your hangers around. And if you don't turn it back around, if you haven't worn it, you're not going to turn it around, blah, 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 that thing. Great. If that works for you, do it. But sometimes just that act of having to turn the hangers around, you're just not going to do it. So just, if you pass over it or you put it on and you're like, nope, and you take it off immediately in the box. Don't even make that hard decision one time. And it'll just start to kind of work its way out. The other thing is shop less. And this could be clothing, this could be groceries, this could be toiletries, this can be anything. Use up what you have, make an inventory of it. Like if you're like, okay, I got toothpaste, right? How long did it really take me? I opened this tube on. You can even just start it in a notes, start a sheet, docs, Google Docs or something. You should be like, okay, I opened this toothpaste on April 1st. How long did it take me until I was done with that toothpaste? Oh, shockingly, it took me 5 weeks to get through that tube of toothpaste, or however long it took. I don't know.
Right.
And then you can say, like,
do I really need 7 of them?
I don't need more. When I go to the store, I can be confident knowing I've got 2 backups, right? I generally like to just have 1 in back stock because I know once I open that next one, it goes on my list.
Right.
That way I don't have a lot of inventory to have to deal with. I just have the 1. And I have the 1, it gives me the peace of mind that I'm not going to have to rush out to the store to get something. I'm not going to have to cut open the toothpaste and scrape it out if I run out, which is totally fine if you want to. Because again, we'll talk about sustainability. And I have this post I'm going to make of the 2 different types of people. We'll get there in a second. Anyway, with toothpaste. Remind me to come back to it.
Okay.
But those are the kinds of things that are like, we stock up on things because they seem like they're a good deal. They're on sale at the time. We don't want to miss the deal. But those things come in cycles. And by the time it comes back on sale, you probably still have 5 in your closet or in your cabinet or in your cupboard. And so I think we can just say like, okay, this took me just being a little more aware of the things we have. Like this took me this long to get through. My deodorant takes me a couple months to get through. My shampoo bottle, oh my God, I haven't bought shampoo in 4 months. Like I don't need that much in back stock. Or just totally bypass that and just have 1. And then, when you open that back stock, it goes on the shopping list and you buy it next time you go. And the less times you can go to the store, the less times you have to say no to those impulse buys. Right?
Yeah.
Because we've all been there. I fall prey to them too. I cannot go into Costco without a shopping list. And I always let myself have 2 impulse buys at Costco. That's it. I give myself wiggle room because I know otherwise I will feel deprived. But I try to be very good about what's on my list. And then they're always going to have the samples and the kid's always going to want something that wasn't on the list, or we're going to forget one thing. And so I try to give myself wiggle room of having 2 extra things we can have in the basket that aren't on the list.
Oh,
Because
so
again,
that's
I
not
try to
even
be
just
real with myself.
yours. That those two
Oh yeah, no.
things include everyone in the house?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Now, you might give yourself a little more wiggle room when you first start out. I've been doing this for a while, so I have a little practice. Be kind to yourself when you first start and look at it as a learning process, right? This isn't something that we have to be amazing at
Mm,
overnight. We didn't start off speaking, we didn't start off running, we started with baby words and crawling and walking and
right.
so just how we do everything else, we got to learn. So,
Cool. That's awesome. Now tell me, does your husband play this game? Like, I'm not game, but like
yeah,
I talk to my husband and say, when you take the last of something or other, just put it on the list. And it doesn't always happen.
yeah. Sometimes it's more of a, hey, I just used the last, right? So sometimes they're not going to make it to the stage where they have the list, right? And also, before I go to the store, I generally tend to walk around my house and be like, okay, check the closet, like check the bathroom. We got a toothpaste, we've got the deodorant. Okay, everything's here, right? Like you start to understand, like I said, this is a process. I keep my stuff in the same place. So I know where it is. I
Right.
know where to check.
Well, and you
And
have
I
less
know what it looks
stuff,
like
so
when
it's
it's out.
not so
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So I have my cabinet that has my back stock in it and I know where to go. So it makes it a little bit easier to then
Do
be
a
like,
quick
oh,
scan.
wait, I think we're on. Did you use the last toothpaste? Oh yeah. Okay, great. Got it. So yeah.
Cool.
And just being like, right, we all make mistakes. I make mistakes. So I don't try to hold people to a perfect standard. I'm just like, oh yeah, right, it's a busy day. We forgot something. No big deal. So yeah.
Okay. That's cool. So what was the thing that we're gonna come back to?
Okay. The toothpaste. So I know you talk about sustainability. And so one of the things I like to do is I like to use every last ounce. I try to use everything up. And so I have this post of there's two kinds of people when it comes to toothpaste. The one that like I take the toothpaste and I like run it along the edge of the vanity and I get it all at the top and I like squeeze out like every last drop of toothpaste. And my husband's just like, okay, here, I'm going to squeeze this one. Like he gets the new one and squeezes it out. And
Look at how much easier this one is with all the toothpaste in it.
Yeah. So does he play the game? In some things, right?
Yeah.
We all play the games and the things that matter to us.
Right.
And not in all the same ways.
Totally. Yeah. Well, we are human beings and
Yeah.
we have needs.
Yeah.
That's
and
really
if we
cool.
were the same, life would be boring.
Right.
So
okay, so toothpaste. Was that the whole thing?
That was it.
Okay,
Just the
there are
two
two
different
types of
kinds of people with toothpaste. Yeah, with toothpaste.
Gotcha. I've been making my own tooth powder for a bunch of years, but I have really bad teeth. And so the dentist told me that I should use a special toothpaste, which just drives me crazy because I hate the tubes for that reason.
Yeah.
Like I just, and then there's the waste part, which is just hard. But so that's a struggle for me.
I get that. Yeah,
but
I use Quip,
I have lots of struggles.
Is supposedly recyclable. So yeah.
What is it called?
I think it's Quip. So QUIP. It's they deliver to you like every 3 months. It's like a subscription, but it's they claim to be more sustainable and their packaging is all recyclable and the tube is supposedly recyclable. So
that's cool. There's also a company called Bite, and it's like little tablets that you can buy.
Ooh,
and just chew them and then brush your teeth. I have some of those.
I will have to check that out.
Yeah, cool. We actually have a refill store that just opened up in our town, and so they have stuff like that. Like I bought mouthwash tablets.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
I love that.
But it's cool to not have to deal with the packaging. Especially with a refill, like you can just bring your old one.
Right. Yeah.
I do love that. Anyway, so we've talked about decluttering. We've talked about like weeding through stuff and methods to not contribute to clutter, etc. And so the benefits I'm getting are you feel lighter, like you just feel
Oh,
free.
for sure. Yeah.
And you can clean easier.
Yes. I have to clean less because you know what's dirty.
Yeah. I know. I hate dusting. I hate dusting. I used to work at a hotel and I had to dust. And now that I have my own place, I'm just like, I don't want stuff. I don't want stuff on the walls because I really don't want to dust it. And here we are with a whole bunch of stuff on the walls and I just don't dust it. We just have little dust bunnies hanging out, and if you make too much wind walking by, there's going to be a dust bunny on the floor. But so then, you know, the benefit of that would be your house is cleaner and you feel, it must just feel so much better. So I'm going to be working on that. I might just
yeah.
And so you were saying that you are working toward a coaching business.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm hoping to do this kind of a thing where I'm talking to people more on a one-to-one basis. Because right now I'm just basically giving people free advice through the podcast. But I've found that it's not, you know, it's definitely beneficial. There's lots of nuggets on there, and 146 episodes. You're definitely going to learn something there. But I do feel like this more, I love speaking to people. I love, you know, kind of diving in and figuring out what it is that really are their problems, right? What are the things that really, what is that one thing that if they could just tweak it a little bit would be that first domino to fall and just really help you kind of on that journey, and just letting go of all the chaos. Because I found that when I had stuff, like so much stuff, I can't concentrate. It makes everything else chaotic. I'm spinning plates. I'm just, everything is going and I can't focus. And that wasn't who I wanted to be. That wasn't the mom I wanted to be. That wasn't the wife I wanted to be. It wasn't the woman I wanted to be. And so by letting go of the stuff, I'm able to focus on the stuff that matters. And I want to help other people do that. So yes, I'm working on creating a, you know, probably a program that would be more of a group coaching session where people could also learn from others, because I think sometimes we can think we're in this silo all by ourselves and we're the only person that's experiencing this problem and we're the only ones that have all this stuff, and we get so embarrassed by that, and it holds us back. It really does hold us back in how we present ourselves to ourselves and to the world. And I just want the world to be filled with women that are just lit up and just want to go out into the world and just be on fire to do whatever they believe in, make the world a, you know, more eco-friendly place, and not be held back by this. I feel like women, when they have a lot of stuff, they just feel like they're holding on to a dirty little secret almost. Like they don't feel like they're really who they want to be. And so that's what I really want to help with.
Yeah. Oh man, that's amazing. And so if 146 episodes, you said the 146 drops tomorrow. And this is all about decluttering and systems to make your life easier. You know some stuff, man.
I've got stuff all over. It's really fun. So what I love is it's not just decluttering stuff. Yes, it's decluttering your stuff. It's organizing with systems. It's mindsets behind letting stuff go. This week, I'm talking about that idea of trying to find the perfect recipient for your stuff and how that's a hurdle that people let themselves kind of, that hold people back because they think like, I think there's a guilt that we have this stuff, and if I don't get it to the right person, it's going to go in the landfill. And, you know, I feel guilty because I spent a lot of money on it. So I want it to go and be used and all this kind of stuff. And I think we just have to understand that, you know, once we buy it, it is going to go in the landfill. The problem is once it's made, it's going to go in the landfill at some point, whether we're the ones using it, someone else is using it, it doesn't get purchased. So I think there's a lot of that guilt that we put on ourselves that isn't helpful to us in the long run, because it just holds us back. And I'm not saying go hog wild and buy all the stuff. Clearly, I don't want us to go buy all the stuff. but I also don't want us to feel bad about, this is where that non-judgment kind of letting go and learning and understanding that life is a learning experience comes in,
Mm-hmm.
of just like, okay, maybe I made a mistake on that. I'm going to be better next time. And being okay with that. And then my guests are all over the gambit. So I talk a lot to moms. So I've got, guests that have talked about parenting, guests that have talked about picky eating, guests that have talked about other minimalists on the show and kind of what their life is like. I find those episodes to be really fun too. So I've got all sorts of fun things on there that'll help.
That's so cool. That's so cool. I think I just listened to the picky eating one.
Oh yeah. Oh, Dr. Sam, she's fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's great.
Oh my gosh. So you just, I love when I kind of have an idea where the conversation is going to go, and then it's just so much better than I could have imagined. I'm so grateful to you for doing this, Deanna. I'm so glad for your journey. I'm so glad that our paths crossed and we get to have this conversation. So when I say the word sustainability to you, what does that mean? Because I would say minimalism, it's also a very complex word.
For sure. I definitely agree with that. For me, it's being mindful of what you are using. And so it might not necessarily be, right? For you, sustainability, you were talking about making your own toothpaste. That's not a route that I'm going to go. But it's be mindful that I don't buy the 7 tubes of toothpaste. I buy the 1 tube of toothpaste that I'm going to use up, and I will use every last drop of that toothpaste. But it's being mindful of the things that we bring into our home. It's understanding okay, I don't need I don't actually wear that many clothes. So my closet is not filled with that many clothes. I wear a very neutral color palette. I wear a lot of denim and a lot of black, white, and some green. And so just knowing that I don't need a lot of that stuff. I try to be cognizant of where I buy my things and who I am buying from. Because I can get down on myself all day long for needing stuff, but the thing is, we need stuff, and I can just be a little bit better about where I buy that stuff.
Awesome. I love that. I mean, being mindful is so important. I mean, it's not necessarily, I'm not going to do that or I'm going to do that, but just what does that actually mean? And I think that's what I'm catching from what you're saying a lot. You don't have to punish yourself for, buying something extra, or if you didn't buy something and you should have, or, anything like that. It's just oh, well, maybe I didn't need that. And, give yourself some grace, which I think it's brilliant. We're also hard on ourselves.
We are. Women especially. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I think, Yeah. So with sustainability, I know personally, it feels like a lot of the time it's an all or nothing. I have to be super sustainable person, or I'm a big jerk, but it doesn't have to be like that. And, so we're learning ways that we can ease into it, or, something that's not going to be life-changing. I mean, buying less stuff or decluttering, it's not moving mountains, but it's going to make a difference. Even if it's not for the whole world, it's for you making a difference. You're going to feel better going into the world.
Yes, exactly. And I think brilliant too, that if you fight to try to be the least possible, right? I don't know that is possible in today's day and age, right? There are going to be the people that live with the 100 things, but did he really live with just 100 things, or was there some
was it 100 for him and 100 for his daughter?
Right. Or you didn't own that, so it didn't really count. Or, we all live in houses. If we're not going to be Native Americans and living completely off the land and using every single iota of resource that comes out of everything we use, then there's always going to be that moment of well, I could have done better. Okay, sure. But I'm doing better than I did yesterday. And I'm doing better than I mean, it's a sliding scale, right? I mean, we're all on this, like this, I don't use anything and I use everything, right? Like I'm not even,
Right.
I'm not going to name people because I'm not going to be mean, but like there's celebrities that have everything under the sun. I have 10 houses. I have a luxurious yacht. I use private jets. Like on the scale of things, people like you and I, we're doing better than we did yesterday and we're using a lot less resources than a lot of people. Now, could we do better? Sure. That's what we're on this journey for. That's what we're working toward. And that's what we're learning every day.
Right. That's why we're talking. Awesome. Oh my gosh. So I'm hoping that I'm not the only one who's totally inspired by this. So if my listeners and their friends and family, if somebody is like, I need Deanna in my life, how can people find you, follow you, stalk
Yes.
you? I don't know.
Sure, come stalk away. So I'm on Instagram at Wannabe Clutter Free, and so you can find me on there, DM me, send me a message. I'd love to hear from you. My podcast is Wannabe Minimalist, and you can find that wherever you like to listen to podcasts. The website's Wannabe Clutter Free. I'm not hard to find, so if you just Google Deanna Yates, you will find me.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh. So
Yeah.
that's where I was confused. The Instagram
Yes.
and the podcast have
Yes.
different names, but it's the same meaning. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. I'm not crazy. I confused
You are
it.
not. You are correct.
Yay.
The podcast is just oddly named.
Not oddly at all. I have been following Joshua Becker, the wannabe or
Becoming Minimalist.
Becoming Minimalist.
Yeah.
And yes. Yeah, I've been following for many years, and there are a lot of really great posts that are inspiring, but it's so different to hear it than it is to read it.
Yeah.
Like to see your face and how bright your house is and how clean it is. Aww. And I'm like,
thanks.
Yeah, I have some work to do, but it feels more attainable in the way that you say it, not like you have to get rid of all these things and you have to have nothing and you have to live in a tiny house. And, I have too much stuff for a tiny house.
That is okay. I think we as a family would kill each other in a tiny house. More power to people that can do it. I am just not in a place in my life where that is necessary.
Yeah.
So,
but I find a lot of things are very much like that. Like you either are or you aren't. It's like the whole black and white thing is really hard to be around if you don't fall into either of those categories. So if you're not all in or all out, who are you and where are you? So I like the way that you put it. I'm just going to hang out with you because I like the way that you make me feel like I have a chance.
Oh, we all have a chance. You definitely have a chance for sure. I mean, the stuff you do with sustainability is way further than some of the stuff I do. So we all have our wheelhouses where we feel more comfortable and areas that we can go further in, that we feel more comfortable going further in. And I think we lean into those and we, like you said, give ourselves a little bit of grace on the areas where we're like, maybe that's not my strong suit. And that is totally okay.
Right. But, and just, try harder next time.
Try harder. Exactly. If it bothers you, try harder. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh. My pleasure.
I'm so grateful. So grateful. I freaking love this podcast. The people that I get to meet. It's just so cool.
Right? I love podcasting. It is a very fun experience. And I have definitely found that it is. I tried blogging before. It was not my jam. It was way too insular. I love chatting with people. So I love being able to get on shows and meet new people and have people on my show. I just think it's so much fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Very cool. All right. You probably have to do dinner.
No worries. Sure thing.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I just want to take a moment and thank my guest again for speaking with me and sharing such great information. I also need to thank Buzzsprout for hosting this podcast. for Jane Bolduc and her amazing music genius, for Becca Coffron and her beautiful artwork. And I'd like to thank you for listening. Please check out the show notes. I'm going to have links posted in there if you would like to follow this guest and learn more about them. Thank you again. We'll talk to you soon.
There'll come a day, my mama told me, when I find love to have and hold me, a heart that's strong and so sincere. Just tell me, how do I get there from here? Oh, tell me, get there from here, 'cause here and now I'm so far down that mercy's bound to find me. We'll find a way to soothe the sickness, we'll heal the hate, with sweet forgiveness. Wages of war will disappear. Just tell me, how do I get there from here? I wonder, how do I get there from here? Yeah, 'cause here and now I'm so far down that mercy's bound to find me. When that state of grace has finally found me, well, there'll be music, ooh, and good friends around me, yeah. And I'll just smile through happy tears and wonder,